I'm 80 years old, and I'm running out of days where I can pretend I don't know what went wrong. I don't say that to sound dramatic. It's just a fact now. The way winter hurts more than it used to. The way names take longer to come back to me. When you reach this age, the truth stops waiting politely. I'm sitting alone as I say this. That's how most of my days are now. Quiet, long, familiar in a way that still surprises me. I'm not telling this because I want forgiveness. Most of the people I owe apologies to aren't here anymore. I'm telling it because someone out there still has time, and I didn't know how precious that was.
When you're young, time feels wide. It stretches ahead of you like a road you don't bother to look down too closely. You assume it will always be there when you're ready. I did. In my 20s, I was busy becoming someone. That's what we called it. I worked hard. I showed up early. I stayed late. I wasn't chasing fame or riches. I was chasing stability, respect, the feeling that I was doing things right. I thought that was enough. I had people then, friends who dropped by without calling, family who expected me at birthdays, at dinners, at ordinary Sundays. I meant to go. I really did. But there was always something small in the way. One more shift, one more deadline, one more tired evening where tomorrow seemed safer. Tomorrow became a habit. In my 30s, life filled up. Marriage, responsibility, routines that felt permanent. We learned how to live alongside each other without really stopping to look. We talked about practical things, bills, plans, what needed fixing. We assumed the deeper conversations would come later when things slowed down. They never did. I missed moments without realizing they were moments. I skipped gatherings because I told myself there would be others. I let phone calls ring because I was busy, even when I wasn't. Nothing bad happened all at once. That's the part no one warns you about. There was no explosion, no single argument that ended everything, just a slow thinning. In my 40s, people stopped calling as much. I didn't notice right away. I was used to being needed elsewhere. When someone did call, I rushed the conversation, not on purpose. I just had places to be, or so I thought. I told myself I was being responsible, that I was providing, that this was what adulthood looked like. I believed that showing up later would make up for not showing up now. Then came the first funeral, someone I had known for years. We used to laugh together, sit too long at tables. I stood there, hands folded, thinking about the last time I'd said, "Let's catch up soon." We hadn't. That feeling passed. Grief always feels sharp at first, then dulls, and life rushed back in. In my 50s, I started feeling tired in a way rest didn't fix. Not just in my body, in my attention. Conversations felt shorter. Listening felt harder. I was always half somewhere else. People noticed before I did. My partner once said, very quietly, "You're here, but you're not really here." I laughed it off, said I was just stressed. That was the moment I could have stopped. I didn't know it then. I thought we had time to circle back. I thought love could wait. It can't. The turning point wasn't loud. It was a hospital room that smelled like disinfectant and old flowers. Machines humming where conversation used to be. I remember sitting there, holding a hand that felt smaller than I remembered, trying to think of the right thing to say. Nothing came. All the words I'd saved for later were suddenly useless. There was no later left. After that, everything looked different. The house sounded hollow. Days stretched in uncomfortable ways. People checked in at first. They brought food. They sat with me. Then slowly they returned to their lives. I don't blame them. I had done the same thing once. In my 60s, I realized how many bridges I had let weaken. Not burn, just weaken. I didn't know how to cross them anymore. Reaching out felt awkward. What do you say after years of silence that isn't an excuse? So I stayed quiet. Again. By 70, the world had gotten smaller, not because I couldn't walk far, but because fewer places felt like they were waiting for me. I spent a lot of time remembering instead of living, replaying conversations, rewriting choices in my head. That's a dangerous place to live, but it's an easy one to fall into. Now I'm 80, and this is what I know for certain. Nothing I was so busy protecting ever asked me to protect it. The work went on without me. The titles faded. The routines disappeared. What I postponed were the only things that might have stayed. You don't feel regret when you're young. You feel it when it's quiet enough to hear yourself think. You feel it when there is no one left to interrupt you. There are things I can't fix now. Conversations that will never happen. Apologies that will never be heard. I can't go back and sit longer at those tables. I can't answer those calls. I can't show up when it mattered most. Time doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care how reasonable your reasons were. If you're listening to this and your life feels full, that's good. But look closely at what's filling it. I thought urgency meant importance. I was wrong. The days that mattered most never announced themselves. They were ordinary. They were waiting quietly to be noticed. I'm not asking you to change your life. I wouldn't know how to tell you to do that. I'm just telling you what I wish I had known. That presence is not something you earn later. It's something you choose when it's inconvenient. That people don't stay where they're not met, even if they love you. That soon is a promise time doesn't always let you keep. I don't have many years left. I feel that in my bones now. Most days, I try to make peace with that. Some days are easier than others. If this reached you, if any part of it sounded familiar, maybe sit a little longer with someone today. Maybe don't rush the ending of a conversation, not because you're afraid, just because you can. I don't need you to remember me. I just don't want you to end up where I am, wondering when later slipped past you. That's all I wanted to say.